Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Tracy Rigdon, and this is the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. In keeping with the celebration of Pride Month, we've got a lot to unpack in this episode. So, are you ready for this? Let's go. Well, we're back. As I stated in the opening segment, we've got a lot to unpack. So, in keeping with my ongoing celebration of Pride Month, I wanted to delve a little deeper into the subject matter of being a straight ally. It's one of those things. Straight allies and allyship has been around for a long time, but it encompasses so many other aspects or so many nuances too being an ally, not just for the LGBTQ community, but it also encompasses so many other things, being allies for people of marginalized areas of all kinds, populations, people of color, the LGBT community, of course. But in this episode, I wanted for us to, look into embracing diversity, allyship, exploring gender conformity, the woke culture, and straight allies. In our ever evolving society, discussions surrounding gender conformity, woke culture, and the role of straight allies have gained, significant attention. These topics are at the forefront of our ongoing journey towards inclusivity, equality, and social justice. In this case, we're going to be talking about all three of those and how they work hand in hand and how they, are part of the great big picture. Gender conformity. Now, I recently did several reels and bonus round on woke culture, but gender conformity and gender nonconformity, of course, breaking free from societal norms, gender being a social construct to not be confused with sex, which is what often happens to the radical right that wants to weaponize the term, not only woke, but weaponize the term gender, using it saying, the person assigned at birth, their sex assigned at birth, and that's what they are. Well, gender, again, is a social construct, being part of conformity to societal's norms, challenging traditional gender norms. And now, trans people aren't, and this is me talking and gleaning from my research. I am not trans. I am not gay. I am a straight ally, and I speak from my heart and how I know the pain that I've seen people go through, specifically in the LGBTQ community, their oppression, and of course the latest legislations that are going around the country, particularly in the state of Florida, which is where I'm from. Okay. Uh, we'd like to explore the various facets of gender expression, presentation, behaviors, roles, expectations, that kind of thing. And I like for us to highlight the experiences and challenges, faced by gender nonconforming individuals. Like I said, promoting inclusivity and celebrating the diversity of gender identities. Human is human. Love is love. When you're talking about legislature that is, geared specifically and targeted at marginalized communities, specifically the LGBTQ community, you're talking about oppression, and this is nothing new, but it seems to be ramping up in the state of Florida, secondary to Governor Ron DeSantis and his authoritarian type leadership. I think that's really at the crux of it. The problem facing people right now, they're actually leaving the state of Florida and or being challenged not to visit the state of Florida from other states. There have been travel advisories, of course, and we've talked about those at length. The woke culture and woke ideology. Now, I spoke about this at length, and I continue to speak about it because it goes to the heart of the way the GOP and people on the far right weaponize the term. Woke culture, woke ideology. It's not a dirty word. Beyond political weaponization, unraveling the origins of the term woke, as we discussed before, woke comes from an African saying, basically, I was once asleep and now I'm woke. So, and then it has been over the years, it's transformed the transformation from slang to a social justice concept. And they continue to wage a war, what they're calling a war on woke in the state of Florida, where of course Ron DeSantis and his wife Casey seems to be shining examples and people that seem to promote, Florida is where woke goes to die. And the other that is killing me is, go woke, go broke. All these people that are got their panties in a bunch over a can of beer and not even knowing the full, depth of that whole situation. Was it a marketing mess up? It may very well have been for the company, but there are people in the LGBTQ community that will tell you that regardless of the number of companies, not just Anheuser-Busch, but so many other companies will don the pride flag and all that during Pride Month in their advertising campaigns and pump dollars into it. But really it is basically a marketing thing. They're marketing. Are they throughout the year promoting inclusivity and inclusion and that kind of thing? Are they helping the LGBTQ community? Are they offering support services, mental health services for those that are, going through difficult times? Because let's face it, LGBTQ people have long gone through hell a large portion of their life until they were able to come to terms with their own identity. And many of them sadly have taken their own lives because of the turmoil that they're going through, the inner turmoil, the fact that their families have shunned them and kicked them out. Their friends maybe have shunned them and kicked them out, people that they thought were friends. And they are going through quite a bit. And mental health and counseling services are available to people in the LGBTQ community and their families, for families that are struggling with it, that may be struggling with it, that can't seem to grasp the idea of having a child that happens to be gay or trans. They're your kids, guys. They're your kids. You're supposed to love them and stop being such an asshole. I mean, really. We have to address the misconceptions and criticisms surrounding woke culture and ideology, discuss the positive aspects of woke culture, and there's many: caring for people, being an ally, that is part of being woke, such as raising awareness about systemic inequalities, emphasizing the importance of remaining vigilant in the pursuit of social change. And this is really what we have to do. We have to be vigilant in all our endeavors. There are, like the saying goes, it's been going around on social media. Be careful who you hate. It may be someone you love. That's more than just a saying. That actually has some profound meaning to it. There are families that, I've seen some nasty shit when their kids come out of the closet, or even adult children have come out after years and years and years of stifling their own identity, and then coming out in adulthood after they've already left the nest, and families shun them at that point. It's really sad. Now, it doesn't happen in every family, of course not, but there still is a lot of it, and it causes a great deal of pain to a lot of people. Now, with Straight Allies, supporting equality and LGBTQ rights, Rights are human rights, regardless. Rights are rights. Do we need laws to support rights? Well, maybe to support them, but laws are not rights. Rights are rights. Human rights are rights, regardless. Women's rights are rights. Trans rights are rights. I mean, come on, people. How is it that we can't understand it as a thriving first world country with all the technology and all the modern conveniences and all the progress that this country has made? How is it that we can't get it when so many other countries do? Why? Now, granted, there are some barbaric practices across this planet where people within the LGBTQ community are more than just shunned. They're actually legally punished and some put to death. That is beyond me. Again, cultures are different, different countries, things are done differently. But, like I said before, being human is human. And this will never change. This is never going to change. All right. We need to define the role of straight allies. And I know that there are some groups that have posted what to do and what not to do as an ally, what to say as an ally and what not to say. When let's say a gay friend comes out to you as a trusted friend, family member, or they know that you're an ally and they come out to you, there are certain things that you should and should not do. There are things you say and things you don't say. Mostly, for the most part, as with all practices of, let's say, layperson counseling or just being a BFF and listening. That's the key. Listen, non-judgmental, just listen. Let them get the piece out. Let them, just air out what they're comfortable with. If they're comfortable sharing with you their life and their lifestyle and their identity to you, you listen and you be the friend you're supposed to be. Okay? Gender equality, the LGBTQ movement, and social movements. Okay? As a whole, that being an ally is being there. And if you can't physically be there, be available by phone or text message or however it is, which is comfortable for you or which is convenient for you and your friend. Now, if your friend really needs you right by their side during a really bad situation, this goes to the heart of not only being an ally, but being a good friend. If somebody calls on you to cry on your shoulder or, blow off some steam, or even they may need you to de-escalate them from a suicide attempt. You listen, you talk calmly, and you work through it together. And by all means, as soon as you possibly can, get your ass over there to that person's house and be with them. Even if you have to stay with that person indefinitely. This is saving a life, people. Saving a life. We should explore the significance of allyship in dismantling discrimination and promoting inclusivity. Always highlighting examples of allyship, like I just did, and the positive impact it has on marginalized communities. Again, like I said, not just the LGBT community, but as we're in Pride Month, let's focus on that, because I can assure you that whether you know it or not, there are people in your friend circle and people in your family that are still in the closet. And there are friends and family that are out of the closet that may feel like they're on the outskirts of the family. They may feel neglected. They may feel that they're not being invited to family dinners and the holidays and such. And in many cases, they aren't. Be there for them. Let's discuss the responsibilities and challenges faced by straight allies in their journey of support. There is an immense amount of responsibility, and you have to step up to the plate and be there. in your words and in your actions. And again, like I say in this podcast often, in the bonus rounds and on my social media posts, Instagram, and, wherever you find me, I am very vocal about my stance as a straight ally. Okay? No ifs, ands, or buts. The intersectional allyship, dismantling the social norms and promoting acceptance. Okay. Collaboration and understanding among the diverse communities to foster positive change, like I said. Now, in conclusion, on this segment of the podcast, we've gone on an exploration here that is basically just a footnote of things that we can all do. It's just a summary of the broad scape of this entire thing called being an ally, understanding what it is to be an ally, understanding what it is to act and be woke, living in the woke culture. Well, like I said many times, and I continue to say it, and I will continue to say it, woke is not a dirty word, people. Okay? In our exploration of gender conformity, woke culture, and the role of straight allies, it becomes clear that embracing diversity and fostering allyship are crucial for a more inclusive and equitable society, hands down. By challenging gender norms and raising awareness about systemic inequalities and supporting marginalized communities, we can make significant changes, I think, towards a future that values and respects all individuals. So let's come together, educate ourselves, take action to create a world where everyone can live authentically and without fear of discrimination. Stick around for the next segment. Don't go nowhere. I'd like to thank all my friends, fans, and followers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. All of you. And those of you who are not already following us, please like, share, comment. And on the YouTube channel, like, share, comment, and smash the subscribe button so that you get all the new episodes. Don't forget to ring that bell. You get notifications. And listen, once again, I want to thank each and every single one of you. Your support means the world to me, and I certainly do appreciate it. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to continue our discussion about allies and their role in the lives of transgendered people. And not just the LGBTQ community, but in this particular segment, I'm going to focus on the transgendered folks who are, of course, part of LGBTQ. Transgendered people have had a unique set of troubles throughout their lives prior to and after transition. And to be fair, in some instances, not accepted within the gay community either. There have been instances, and I have heard this from trans folks say things along those lines, that there's still a lot to be done within their own community. And not just in the straight community. So we're going to touch on that, and one way to do that, and to intertwine the story of how allies fit into the life of a transgendered person going through transition and post transition. First, I'd like to say this right off the bat. In the words of Rudy Francisco, the following are true stories. Okay. I'm going to talk about some celebrities, those that are, more visible in the public eye, of course, transgendered folks. And most recently, of course, in the celebrity realm, I think you all know by now, unless you're living under a rock, Dylan Mulvaney and that whole situation between her and Bud Light. And certainly, I've said this before, I think the whole boycott thing is ridiculous and pretty hypocritical on the part of the far right that are behind all the boycotts, costing the company, and I'll get to that in another episode, but costing the company billions of dollars. And when it gets to a point that they're essentially these people that are boycotting and joining in and jumping in on that whole cancel culture thing that they used to blame all on liberal Democrats. Of course, the hypocrisy is just overwhelming. I mean, but the end run here is that company eventually they continue to lose money because of this, and other companies like them. It trickles down, and what you're doing is you're actually causing people to lose their jobs, lose their livelihood. So, anyway, we'll get to another episode with that. Now, another popular transgender actor of late is that of Elliot Page. And Elliot Page recently has been very vocal about his transition and how, the tough times he was going through when living the life of a woman as assigned at birth as female and living as a female and even as a female in Hollywood at the time. And he is saying in recent articles, even being very, sharing intimate stories about when he was living that lie in his own mind and living, against, conforming to the norm of the gender or the sex assigned at birth. Two different things, people. How at the time she was having, intimate relationships and actually found it at one particular one that was recently reported by Elliot, in Elliot's own words, that they had tried to have sex and tried, and it just didn't work. And eventually they just stopped. So that was at a time when Elliot was coming to realize, it was hitting home more than, Elliot had known that at the time she was different. And now Elliot is living his best life. Elliot has had top surgery and recently was photographed without his shirt on. And you could see the surgical scars. And of course, you're going to have scars if you have that kind of surgery. So, and it's a proud moment for a transgender person to do so. Some of them. There are transgendered folks out there that do not opt to have reassignment surgery. Some do not. And some will refuse to have bottom surgery. They just won't do it. And that's their own choice. That is their own choice. Now, representation and visibility amongst transgender individuals in pop culture are crucial for fostering understanding and acceptance. In recent years, we've witnessed, the transformative impact of famous transgendered icons who've come out and shared their personal stories. Through their courage and advocacy, they not only have broken barriers, but also highlighted the importance of allies in supporting their communities. We're going to talk about a few more instances. Again, the following are true stories. One of the trailblazers within the community for advocacy and authenticity would be the transgendered actress Laverne Cox. Very famous, well known, recognizable. If you don't know her name or that, you most certainly should recognize her if you saw her face on film. Been around quite a while. Widely recognized as an actress, activist, has achieved remarkable milestones in her career. She's made a history as the first transgendered performer to receive an Emmy nomination in an acting category. Cox's influential presence, extends beyond television. She became the first transgendered person to be on the cover of Time magazine and Cosmopolitan magazine. However, her path to success not been without challenges, and she has told her stories too. Like many transgendered individuals, Cox has faced bullying, a lack of support, but nevertheless, she's used her platform to advocate for the LGBTQ rights and encourage people to move beyond gender expectations, norms, inspiring others to live more authentically. Another very famous transgendered person who pretty much was all over the news during the transition period, was, of course, Caitlyn Jenner. Assigned at birth, male, went on to be a Olympian, Bruce Jenner, and graced the covers of Wheatie magazine and all that stuff, and was married to Kris Kardashian. The Kardashian family, quite famous for, their looks, their modeling. Kris being a real hard driving force behind the modeling careers of her daughters. And Bruce transitioned some years back and became, very much outspoken, and people within the LGBTQ community have of late raised their eyebrows at some of Caitlyn Jenner's political views. But in any case, the transition journey began long before her involvement with the Kardashians and her subsequent rise to fame. Throughout her life, Jenner struggled with her gender identity, something that was basically hidden from the rest of the world when Caitlyn was living as Bruce. Always feeling like a woman. However, societal pressures and her high-profile relationships, and later, particularly with Kris Kardashian, influenced her decisions. It was not until later in life that Jenner took the brave step of embracing her true identity. In 2017, she underwent gender affirmation, publicly sharing her journey with the rest of us. Jenner's story serves as a reminder of the importance of self-acceptance and the complexities individuals face. It's a complex thing to go through gender reassignment. You can imagine. The third celebrity would be Candace Cain. She was breaking barriers in entertainment. Candace Cain was, a celebrated transgender actress, and performance artist. She made significant contributions to breaking barriers in the entertainment industry. She had a breakthrough role in a television series, Dirty Sexy Money. Good show, by the way. Marked a historic moment as the first transgender actress to play a recurring transgender character in primetime television. Yeah. Cain's journey began in 1996 when she came out as transgender. Since then, she's become an advocate for the transgender community, using her platform to raise awareness and promote visibility. Cain's resilience and artistic talents have helped pave the way for future generations of transgender actors and actresses. We've all grown up, I suppose most of us anyway, grew up with Sonny and Cher, right? They had a daughter, Chastity. Chastity became, over time, Chaz Bono, navigating the transition in the public eye. Chaz Bono known not only as a child of Sonny Bono and Cher, but also as a prominent LGBTQ activist and advocate, experienced a unique journey of self-realization. The tabloids took away Bono's opportunity to come out on his own terms when they outed him as a lesbian. Okay. However, Bono's journey continued as he embarked on his transition to male. Between 2008 2011, he shared a story in, I believe it was 2011, documentary film called Becoming Chaz. It shed some light on the challenges and triumphs of his transition. Bono's visibility including his participation in the popular television show Dancing with the Stars, has sparked important conversations and increased understanding of transgender experiences. Okay. The power of allies. Okay. As we're talking about these people, they all will tell you in their own words and in their own stories about the allies that join them on their journey, supporting the transgendered communities. That's what allies do, right? The role of allies is crucial in supporting transgender individuals and promoting inclusivity. Allies are typically heterosexual and cisgendered individuals who actively support equal civil rights, gender equality, and LGBTQ social movements. Education, empathy, active support from allies contribute to fostering acceptance and challenging, societal norms. We talked about norms extensively in the last segment and in previous episodes of the bonus rounds. So by standing up against discrimination and amplifying the voices of transgendered communities, allies play a vital role in creating a more inclusive society. Together, we can work towards equality, respect, and dignity for all. Like I've always said, in conclusion, the journeys of Laverne Cox, Caitlyn Jenner, Candace Cain, Chaz Bono, Elliot Page, Dylan Mulvaney, and everybody out there that can relate to the story who just happens to not be a celebrity. The stories are very much similar and very much powerful and just as powerful as any one of the celebrity stories. Now, you can say that, celebrities being, under the, public scrutiny and in front of cameras all the time, that they, it may have been tough on them in a different kind of way, but the struggles are there. The inner turmoil is there, regardless of your socioeconomic status. Maybe harder on folks in a lower socioeconomic category. Maybe. I think there are statistics that show that poorer communities can sometimes be less accepting of people of the LGBTQ community. Now, let these serve as powerful reminders of the resilience and strength of transgendered individuals. Through their visibility and advocacy, they've paved the way for increased acceptance and understanding. The support of allies is instrumental in creating a more inclusive society where transgendered individuals can thrive and be celebrated for their authentic selves. We've talked about that. When people have become their authentic self. And even outside the transgender community, gay and lesbian people will tell you when they're living their authentic self, they are so much more happy. It just is. And that's a human trait, people. Okay? Let's continue to celebrate these icons and everybody else, amplify transgendered voices, be an ally, and work together to build a world that embraces diversity and equality for everyone. In my closing thoughts, I want to just take a second or two to talk about, what we've learned here and what we're going to continue to learn together as we navigate, the ever changing landscape of today's world, right? I'm committed to bringing you fresh perspectives on this podcast and insightful conversations as much as I possibly can. My goal is to inspire, entertain, and challenge your perspectives, all while hopefully having a little fun along the way occasionally. Thank you so much for being a part of the Contrast Project Lounge podcast family. Your support fuels my passion for this project, and I'm thrilled to have you join me on this incredible journey. Stay curious, stay connected. Remember, life is too short to just settle. Embrace the randomness, seek the relevance, and keep it real. Together, let's make every moment count. Be safe out there, be vigilant, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, peace.